guys, this is my video about remote viewing. I've been wanting to make this video for a really long time, but some of my recent videos had a lot of information that had to do with remote viewing, so I'm gonna use remote viewing information in a lot of my videos because I think it's really real, and that even as you see, the Russian government first created a psychic operations program, and then America decided to make their own. So, although it's not 100% accurate, it does work to an extent. And anyways, I tried it, and here's a video that teaches you how to just basically get the gist of it. And I was pretty surprised that I kind of got some good hits on it, but just try out the video yourself, and then I'll put my remote viewing results on the end of the video. Check it out. Thanks.
Well, hey everyone, it's Dr. Simeon Hein here, and I've got a very exciting virtual viewing target for you today. You know, I've been getting a lot of requests from people to share more targets with you on YouTube, and so I thought I'd put up a couple more targets for you. Here's one of them, and I'm going to guide you through the virtual viewing process, and then at the end of the session, I'm going to give you the feedback, and you can see how you did. How about that? Okay, so I've selected a target for you, and no, I'm not going to give you any hints. You don't need any hints. You're perfectly capable of doing it on your own. And I'm going to guide you through the session, and let's see how you do, okay? So get a piece of paper if you don't have one already, and a pen, and you want to write down your name and the date and the time. So we have a record of when you did this session. And when you have that basic information down, and of course feel free to stop the video anytime that you need more time. And also it's important, just turn off any distractions right now, anything that's going to distract you while we do this session, you know, email, instant messenger, cell phone, anything like that. You need a few minutes of quiet time to be able to do this. We want to lower down the noise level in your mind as much as possible. And then go ahead and do a cool down. I like to do kind of a little breathing. You could kind of inhale, and every time you exhale, maybe kind of imagine the way some of the Taoists do with the breathing exercise, kind of a little cloudy gray color coming out with every exhale. And inhale again, kind of exhale your stress, let go of any tension. I like to do it maybe 9 times, kind of inhale. And then you want to exhale a little bit, let go of the stress and the tension. And if you have any particular physical or emotional distractors, you know, you could write them down in the upper right side of the page along with your name and the date and the time. Any physical, emotional distractors, let them go, and any set-asides, anything you want to set aside. And one more thing, are you getting any advanced perceptions? Anything that you're perceiving right now? Sometimes you can start perceiving the target ahead of time, and those can be accurate. So write them down, any of your advanced perceptions right now on the right side of the page, and just let them go. And now what we're going to do is an ideogram. So you just want to basically put your pen on the page and let your autonomic nervous system, you know, through your subconscious mind, just kind of tell you what's at the target site. So just put your pen on the page and just let your hand move a little bit. Okay, and don't worry about what you're drawing. Just let your hand move. It's almost like your subconscious mind is kind of communicating to you through your nervous system some information about the target. So go ahead, put your pen on the page and draw your ideogram. Sometimes we call this a gestalt. It's like a kind of holistic sense of what's at the target site. And when you've drawn your ideogram, why don't you probe it a little bit, tap it with your pen, touch it with your finger, trace it with your finger or your pen. Let's get some information about what's at the target site. So what you want to do is tap your ideogram a little bit and then get some basic impressions about it. Is it hard or soft or wet or dry? Is it mushy or hard? What does it feel like when you touch the target? It's actually, when you touch your ideogram, it's as if you're reaching through space-time and touching the target. How does it feel when you touch it? Not how do you feel, but how does the pen feel, literally, when you touch your ideogram? And go ahead and write some things down for that, your basic descriptors. And then when you've done that, probe your ideogram again and see if you can get kind of a basic description of what's at the target site. A very low level noun, something just like land or airspace, water, man-made, live, organic, energy information, people, just something like that, based on what you've drawn in your ideogram. Do any of those feel correct? And if not, that's okay too. And then let's go ahead and let's draw another ideogram. So put your pen on the page, let your hand move just a little bit, and then pull your pen off the page again, and that's your ideogram. And touch it a little bit. Probe it. How does it feel when you touch the ideogram? Just write a few basic descriptors down. You kind of want to do this towards the center, left side of the page. That's where we basically put most of the data. And then go ahead and see if you can get a more advanced description of your ideogram. Just pick a very low-level noun, nothing too descriptive. Is it airspace or land or water or mountains, people, live, organic, natural? Do any of those feel appropriate? And just pick one. And if you'd like to do more ideograms, you can feel free to go ahead. You could pause the video here. Otherwise, we'll go ahead. Let's see if we can get some sensory information about this target. Okay, I will read you kind of a list of cues and just write the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay, sounds. What sounds do you perceive? Temperatures. Textures. Contrasts. Luminosity. Tastes. Smells. Sounds. Textures. Contrasts. Temperatures. Colors. Textures. Smells. Tastes. Ambience. What ambience do you perceive? Sounds. Textures. Temperatures. Colors. Textures. Smells. Tastes. Sounds. Ambience. Contrasts. Luminosity. Tastes. Smells. Okay, now let's get some dimensional and magnitude information about the target area. Describe your orientations. Verticals. Describe your verticals. Horizontals. Diagonals. Describe your diagonals. Patterns. What patterns do you perceive? Shapes. Density. Mass. Volume. Energetics. Patterns. Size. Shape. Verticals. Horizontals. Diagonals. mass, space, volume, density, colors, shapes, sizes, energetics, density, direction, position, size, colors, contrasts, textures. Now, in your mind, move 1,000 feet over the target area and describe size, shape, position, sounds, temperatures, textures, colors, sounds, sounds. Now move your mind freely around the target area, and if you see anything in particular that looks interesting, go ahead and describe it. Colors, textures, position, sounds, size, patterns, direction, mass, density, space, volume, orientation, verticals, diagonals, horizontals. And let's go ahead and move back 2,000 years in time and describe size, shape, position, sounds, colors, textures. And now let's go ahead and draw a sketch. So get another sheet of paper and go ahead and see if you can sketch the target. Now, you don't have to be a super duper artist to be able to do this. Just basically put your hand back on the paper and let your hand move around and fill the page in. Where do things belong? And if you drew things on, previous, if you have previous items from the sensories and dimensions that we just went through, just look over them and see where they belong on the page. Pause the video if you need to, and just move your hand around the page and sketch in where do things belong. Go ahead and do your sketch. Take your time. You want to fill in the whole page. If you see any blank areas in your page, you could ask yourself, what belongs there, what goes there. And look over your data so far. Where do the things that you've written down in terms of your sensories and dimensions, where do they belong on the page? When you're ready, let's see, is there anything that you've been perceiving that you haven't described yet? And when you're ready, let's go ahead and end the session and write end time and any whatever time it is, whenever you're doing this session, and go ahead and let's do a little summary. What does the target contain? What have you written down so far? And don't analyze it. Just summarize what you've gotten so far. What does your target contain? What are some of your impressions so far about the target area? And any feelings you got about it. Go ahead and write those down in your post-session summary. Anything else that you want to put down? Anything have you been perceiving that you haven't written down yet? Go ahead and write it down. And when you're ready, we'll take a look at the feedback. If you have any ideas, let's see how you did. Okay, so here is the feedback for the session that you were just doing. These look to me like Roman ruins from several thousand years ago. Anyway, this is the building that you were describing. Obviously, it had a more active uh, period a long time ago, but these are just the ruins. And if you got columns, if you got white uh, stone or kind of surrounding forest, kind of these angular lines here, vertical lines, then you made some target contact. There are some mountains in the background. And anyway, congratulations for doing your viewing session here. The best sessions are the ones where you learn about yourself. You can probably look back at your session and see, oh, now I see what I was getting. And if you had any overlay about buildings, anything about structures, you were getting some target content. So anyway, thanks for participating in our virtual viewing session, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.
Well, I tried this remote viewing demonstration myself just about 8 years ago, and I thought I had some interesting results. I had about at least 2 hits that I could say. I seen like a forest and foliage and only thing this water spout thing was, it was still, it wasn't like a water spout. It had like a smaller top, and it was just flowing, and I could see it twist, and I could see blue at the top, like that's why I thought it was water. And it was basically looked like this, where it was inflow and outflow, and it was also twisting. And this is a sketch I drew, and I compared it like a long time ago, and it was twisting and flowing inward. Then I realized, I thought basically the ancient temples, they were on ley lines, so I think I remote viewed like the telluric current flowing through the pillar. I thought this would be a good time to make this video because I'm going to use remote viewing evidence in a lot of my future videos. Thanks for watching.